Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Paladins Open Bracket Summer Qualifiers. And that is taking you on the path to DreamHack Valencia. Espanol. You got to learn it. You want to see it. You want to be there. It's going to be awesome in Spain in a couple months here. So we're very excited to bring you the action. Of course, my name is Evan Rayner, Rain Day, and I'm joined by none other than Nick Keogh, Hi-Rez Pretty Hair today. We're doing things a little different, Nick. No cameras, but all in all, you still feeling ready?
Evan, where are you?
Oh no, Nick! Oh no, I can't see you anymore. I feel actually kind of nice, man. I'm not staring up at you, man.
Talks today, dude.
Yeah,
we're on an even playing field.
That's right. It's going to be exciting. It's just voice to voice. Again, talking about that path to DreamHack Valencia. It's an incredible moment for everyone here to be able to understand what that's going to look like. I mean, getting to that tournament is what all of these teams are fighting for. There's 4 weeks of open bracket qualifiers. We're in week 3 right now. $100,000 prize pool, July 13th to 15th is going to be when it actually takes place. After this, though, Nick, we're going to whittle down the top 4 teams, and they're going to face off in a round robin tournament for 3 weeks. That's going to end on June 18th. And the top 2 teams from each region will then go to DreamHack Valencia. I mean, this is the swing week, Nick. This means a lot for a lot of these teams.
Yeah, a lot of the breaking into the top 4 because you can't finish really outside of, second place and first place. I mean, finishing first place once can almost guarantee you entry, out of this open bracket stage. So it's going to be very close. A lot of these teams coming through this week in particular, looking to make that big point swing here and now.
Yeah, with the brackets ready to be shown for you. It is going to be D69 and Flashpoint on the upper side of your bracket that have made it into the semifinals for this week. No surprise with D69 having such a tremendous, I think, effect on this esports scene since they came in as an organization and consistently found themselves in the top 4 and in the finals, and recently won the biggest tournament of all this year, the Masters Land, aside from Hi-Rez Expo. But of course, on their other side, the bottom half, 50 Shades of Snake versus WASD Sports, Nick. It just feels like we've got 2 great sets we're going to be watching today.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the WSD Sports and 50 Shades of Snake in particular because, like we said, this is a big week for a lot of those 3rd and 4th place teams looking to lock those in. With Snake and D69 trading out wins at the top, those will probably be our 1 and 2 seeds, as they kind of always have been in the past, but it should be a good fight for 3rd and 4th.
Absolutely. And so as we're ready for that, have decided to ban away, and that will actually be Frozen Guard banned out by D69. Flashpoint has decided to ban out Fish Market, not liking that kind of open space map. A little bit weird not to see the map banned, but to play on it, a lot of teams feel, so want to leave that one out. And they start off with Bright Marsh. That's D69's pick. I mean, teams are starting to love Bright Marsh, man.
Yeah, and this one in particular should be interesting with Inara being so strong as she is right now. She's one of the characters that I think, well, I guess I should say this is one of the maps that I think she excelled the most on already. But given her recent changes to that Earth and Guard legendary, I think is going to be very spicy for that character in particular on this map.
Incredibly spicy. Well, I mean, you mentioned Inara, you mentioned Bright Marsh. I would expect to see her highly prioritized here in this patch. And so let's get into the champion draft and see exactly who takes what and when. It will be D69 with the first selection opportunity, meaning that they could steal away the woman with all of the mother's grace. And it looks like hovering over and selecting Inara is D69. They take away the big time frontliner.
There it is. They want to grab it first. So Flashpoint, will they prioritize Sarah's high this week because she received a bunch of changes to her ultimate and the cooldown of her heal. So I don't know if they want to give that up again, but it looks like they are hovering the Bomb King and the Ruckus going to lock those one in. Might be as a result of just, I think D69 really like the Ruckus. And then Fisheko, of course, is an absolute monster on the Bomb King.
You're absolutely right about that. I mean, Fisheko, a dominant Bomb King, just a surprising draft. We talked about the Sarah-Sonara combination, considering she's got that immunity, able to really, with Earth and Guard, keep herself protected from the anti-heal for so long. And Saris, I mean, she just does so well at keeping a tank like that nice and filled up to the top. But Maldamba selected as the primary healer over the Saris, which they had the opportunity to pick, and Androxus, great pick here on Bright Marsh, taken as the flanker.
Yeah, and the Maldamba just could be gerrah. It might just be his personal preference. Up until this point, we've really only seen Bird as they got to kind of step up and actually, you know, not be afraid to play Sarah. So, you know, we'll have to see what the rest of the composition is from D69, but Maldamba could be what suits them more for it.
I mean, and look, you see here, Saris and seems like Barrett absolutely just locked in. It's been too long for these two very good champions to, you know, not be picked up. I mean, 6 and 7 for Saris and Barrett right now. I definitely wouldn't have expected that, but I guess it does make sense. You talk about comfort picks for Barrett. He's been playing Maldamba for so long. Maybe just prioritizes that healer. Makoa coming in at what feels like 8th, 9th pick. I mean, this is unheard of stuff, man. And yeah. D69 get him as well.
I expected him to fall, but not that much. You know, we did basically the only change to him was the cooldown on his hook. That was the big one there. And also we did reduce the amount of time between pressing E and actually getting the HP from your ultimate. So kind of a little bit of a buff nerf there. I didn't expect him to fall from 1st pick to 8th pick, but again, it might just be according to the strategy they're trying to build around Inara in particular.
And, you know, sometimes it is just a reactionary kind of, you drop off of the face of the earth, not because you did in terms of stats, but because you did in terms of whether I care or not. You know, you clearly from a perceptual level were buffed at your most important aspect, what you contribute to the esports scene, which is that hook. And so a lot of players may have just said, we're not worried about Makoa. We're thinking of lineups without Makoa. And if we get him, we get him, but we're not playing around him or playing with him as Flashpoint locks in the Cassie last pick.
Yeah, it should be pretty interesting composition here. I'm excited to see Saris. Really excited for her new ultimate, how much that's going to impact the game. I think it's probably the most impactful part of her kit.
Yep, going to be incredibly exciting to see this as we get in the game. We're going to take just a minute or two to sync up and get you ready for this in-game action. We'll be taking it away. Set 1, Game 1, D69 versus Flashpoint on Bright Marsh, coming up right after this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the game here. It's time for D69 versus Flashpoint. First semifinal here in the open bracket summer qualifiers here going to DreamHack. So trying to figure out who's going to get the best of each other is D69, starting out with bugzy on the half-shell Makoa, Mother's Grace for eLvenpath on the Inara, Shipa on Recurve Shaolin, Ripened Gore gerrah on the Maldamba, and Dark Stalker Androxus for PERDO.
Their opponents today are going to be Flashpoint. Over in the red corner there on the right side of your spectator UI, it's going to be Flux Generator for Faenex's Ruckus, Mortal Reach for CogCog, Saris Exaction for Cybait's Cassie, Accelerant for Fisheko's Bomb King, Architectonics for Sephicloud's Barrack. Moving off to the fight here with 2 records, 2 COTS for D69, and only 1 record for the boys of Flashpoint.
Immediately so excited to see what this Inara does. The first one shuts off an entire opportunity for the team to support the Ruckus. Faenex trapped by himself and gets taken down. eLvenpath still alive, getting healed up, and still the pressure from D69 is imminent. Flashpoint can't find a way onto the point with Barrack so needing to get set up to do his effectiveness on that objective. Just can't find a way in.
Yeah, especially not running Fortify this game. It's going to be really tough. Shipa and eLvenpath both have records, so that, you know, already weakened Barrack shield is going to last that much shorter.
And absolutely, you see here Bomb King coming through the windows with the Grumpy Bomb, trying to be as effective as he can. Fisheko just unfortunately, though the Grumpy Bomb such a good zoning tool, doesn't have the support of his teammates. Shipa picks another kill off of Cybate, and eLvenpath had the best day of his life here. Bright Marsh is looking like a vacation trip for him. He's getting paid time off because he's just sat on the objective and had no pressure.
Yeah, Flashpoint really struggling to get in there. They didn't take the Makoa. It would have been a good opportunity, I think, for it. Maybe a little bit more so than the Ruckus, just to break this up. They didn't have anything to try and penetrate into the point here and, you know, bust up this clumping from the Inara.
And that's what they're going to need. eLvenpath still on a rampage, about to be at least 4 streak here, trying to make it 5. A nice escape from the room and a gourd from gerrah will help to heal him up back to about 1200. As D69 feels the heat, they feel the pressure, and like a smart team, they're going to back off. They've already pushed it 50% of the way, Nick. They've got a minute and 45 seconds left to do the deed. They're going to wait for a hook, and that's just what they got.
Yeah, there's going to go in the planet in the back line. Shipa just dumping damage into the team fight. Every arrow is going to connect. 2 kills come through for the way of D69. Now they've got Flashpoint totally on the back foot.
Minute and 30 seconds left. Payload about to push here. eLvenpath 6th streak, trying to make it more. bugzy looking for a hook, gets it onto the Barrack. Sephicloud could be in trouble, goes down. The frontliner for Flashpoint will fall. Saris in the veil, but Faenex barely wanted to go in. Lovely play by eLvenpath to knock himself up on the wall, and he's running right in the back line.
Shipa's ripping this team apart as well, putting so much damage into the backline. Everyone is so poked out because of this superhero Shaolin. playing like a legend right now. Stun up onto the high ground. Shipa claims another life before going back to base.
I mean, we talk about the candy cane pain. Right now, he's running that superhero Shaolin skin. Whether he's a hero or a villain, he is not what D69 deserves. He's more than that. Shipa always coming to play, ready to make the big-time damage. I think clutch moments happen whenever he's on the battlefield. Right now, Nick, 20 seconds left to try to get their items. Flashpoint haven't had a moment in this game.
Yeah, this has been really, really snowbally so far. All the ultimates still on the board. D69 didn't have to use any Flashpoint, I guess, too discouraged to maybe even try to use one. They want to just cut their losses at that round, try and get something going this round. But D69, that was so quick. They're going to be nowhere near their tier 2 items if you are a member of Flashpoint.
Surprisingly, though, Fisheko is 2-0. He actually hasn't died. He's gotten 2 kills. So the Bomb King's been doing well for them. They prioritized that. It was their first and second pick. But here comes the Lance trying to take it down. The Stone Spear will travel, will stun, and the 2 tanks from Flashpoint will fall.
Oh, and his heat haze. Shipa's rolling through these, about to come out of it as well. Has the record too, so he destroyed all that shielding on the point. And Flashpoint, once again, looking spread out right now. Not very cohesive effort. Gerrah just playing that role of the point stand right now, 63% and climbing.
And this is a totally different role eLvenpath has taken. He's realized that Flashpoint haven't had the rhythm that they've needed. A walk just to seal off Faenex into the Seris ultimate. It's going to pull bugzy down for a while, but not enough. They can't get back to the point. Inara, these walls so strong at just blocking off the entries and exits that doesn't give Flashpoint a chance to make any mistakes and still attack this objective.
Only 1 kill during that whole engagement, so D69 continuing to roll pretty much flawlessly here. Only a couple of deaths on their side. PERDO, going to be 2 of those. He is the most aggressive one, but just looking pretty much flawless right now as the champs do.
Absolutely, and eLvenpath still on the left-hand side with this Inara, blocking off Faenex. I mean, it feels like he's been practicing this champion for so long because the way he's walling off Faenex, he's not making these mistakes. So often we'll see an Inara wall and he'll be looking like it just wasn't quite there. They'll slip through. There are a couple cracks to get to the sides if it's not perfect. eLvenpath just been on the money every single time, really able to show off his prowess as a player on this champion.
Nice wall. Yeah, it's a really good draft right now. Here comes the King Bomb. Fisheko going to look for something. Gets walled off. Does get around it. Will he be able to put enough damage in? However, eLvenpath is just so tanky here. Half shell comes out. PERDO does go down. And Flashpoint looks like they might be able to win or at least push back District 69 right here.
The problem is, Nick, that confidence could be their Achilles heel. If they lose somebody big, it could turn everything. We've seen Lazy even overcommit on the Bomb King, and right now Fisheko looks to be overcommitting himself. PERDO's going to take him down, and they've lost so much of that area control that Bomb King provides. Now a minute left. D69 are on the push.
Yeah, they have the Mako Dredge Anchor as well. Don't even need it. 420 from a distance. bugzy blazes through Cybe 8. Lands the hook onto the Ruckus, but will be saved by the edge there. Dome Shield will come out just to try and buy time for Flashpoint. So they are now in the situation where they have to use these desperation defensive ults.
Oh, they don't see it. They don't see it. eLvenpath on the back line. He's doing it again. Knocks himself up. He's completely behind them. They finally get it, but it's not enough.
Off the top rope. Here comes this seismic crash from Inara from the top rope. He managed to flank all the way around them with Inara, pressuring out Sephicloud now as well.
Incredible stuff here from D69, Nick. They just can't seem to be stopped, and that is an issue for Flashpoint here.
Absolutely. 19 seconds to go here, but Flashpoint's starting to stabilize. They're going to find eLvenpath surging forward. Shipa's going to get low, but stay alive for the time being, escaping with 200 health. Fisheko, though, cleaning up, and it looks like we may see our first defensive point here from Flashpoint.
Very, very important for that defense to come through. And, Nick, taking a look at this game just from a wider, more general perspective, they've been doing everything right. Everything right for D69 here. Flashpoint able to just barely hold on. But, gosh, they have been so impressive with this Inara play coming out.
Yeah, this is a really good map. I think, just thinking through it, it's probably one of the best maps for her, if not the best flat out, just because of, the map's design is supposed to be boots on the ground. And Inara can get everywhere she needs to. There's nowhere she's not going to be able to really impact. There are a lot of tight corridors, hallways for the end of those Victors, Skies, Androxus, people that like to shoot down hallways or escape around. And she can just block it all off. And it's really interesting to see this in combination with Makoa, in combination with Shaolin. It's making D69, it's like, where do you want to fight these guys from? You can't really get close to them. You can't really stay too far away from them, or Shipa's just going to pick you apart.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. You got to make sure that you are not going in and getting caught out, because they have so many tools that could turn that against you with bugzy on that Makoa. It's just dangerous stuff.
11% already on the point. Faenex uses Hexfire, but gets nothing for it. And all he gets is shut down by PERDO. Here comes a nice convention by Saris. It's not going to get much, though. Fisheko will claim the life of eLvenpath. Convergence used in that fight. Hexafire used in that fight. Dome Shield's not ready to go yet. Flashpoint looking a little bit rough here, and this is their last chance. They have to get in here and find this payload.
I mean, that's the problem. You use 2 big-time ultimates, you don't get anything for it. How can you do that as Flashpoint and look at yourself and say, I did what I needed this game? It's unfortunate the King Bomb, they got to get a lot off of it, and they did pick up Gerrah, they did pick up Shipa, but is it enough?
They're holding a Cassie as well. Sybate getting swung by this dredge anchor, but Sarah's keeping her alive, just giving her health bar after health bar. Half Shell versus Barrack here on the point right now, and it looks like bugzy's going to have to concede that positioning.
Very, very big time here. D69, they know they need to win this one. Anybody to tell them that they aren't the best in the world, Nick. Everything is on the line for them here. They've got a little bit of room to make some mistakes, but I think they're going to try to make this happen here.
Sybate, Fisheko, CogCog, everyone from Flashpoint contributing to this team fight now. Bugzy's the last one left alive. He's going to be stuck out a lot, has no shell shield, goes down to the point, just trying to give his last seconds alive just to contest here. And Flashpoint triggered the overtime and look for their first payload.
You know, this is what's so important here with, you know, the overtime, the payload, the comeback mechanic you talk about, Nick. I mean, how much do you think that factored into that last team fight?
It's going to be a pretty big impact here, you know, falling apart like that is never easy for D69, especially when you're so far ahead. PERDO, though, does find the kill on to Fisheko, and that's going to skunk this push for the time being at least.
Really
here we go.
Stuff.
2 minutes remain here. Eat Haze is still available, though, Evan, like you mentioned. A lot of impact ultimates could come through here. Flashpoint don't have much left in the tank. They did have to use it, but I like to see that they're not afraid to get aggressive when they need to. The game is on the line here. They spent everything to try and do it here, but this payload still getting conked through. Another nice Dome Shield here. And just talk a little bit about what Dome Shield can do, you know, to start a push, to skunk a push, just claim this area as your own for 6 seconds.
It's so important, right? It's that expansive nature that sometimes Barrack brings to the battlefield when he's got that up. He's able to push people away. He's able to buy time for his teammates, which I think is the most important thing, whether it's regrouping, whether it's realizing you can re-engage on a certain target, or whether you have to back up, keeping your teammates alive sometimes and just buying those 4, those 5, those 6 seconds. And the little damage that it does, not too much, can be the difference maker in keeping the push alive.
Again, Fisheko with yet another King Bomb. Here's another Hexafire. Will blow through the Inara wall, but not quite enough damage to find a kill. But so much momentum right now. There's the Dread Serpent to try and slow down Flashpoint, but they don't have any intention of taking off the gas here. It looks like D69 is going to have to force them off the gas. Bugzy rolling through here. Sybate getting insanely aggressive with this Cassie. Will barely escape with his life. Now going down to PERDO in the back line. 54 seconds remain here. Sephicloud goes down. So the payload, though, about 5% away from conversion. Triple kill there for PERDO. And Droxus can really snowball a fight, but, you know, so can this Cassie. She got incredibly aggressive, and that's the type of play I think we need to see from Sybate.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this guy can aim for days. He's one of the best mechanical players, I think, in the Paladin scene. I'll give him that credit. And when he plays the Androxus, when he plays the Knessa, he makes a big difference. When he plays the Cassie, he's hit or miss for me. And I want to see him be more consistent with that in these big-time games. This is the best team you're going to play in Europe, aside from 50 Shades of Snake, on it every single day. And if he's showing big time here, that is what he needs to do to take his team to the next level.
Let's remain here. Flashpoint, you know, working their way in slowly but surely, trying to be careful here. Brightmarsh is pretty hard to convert on just due to the nature of the capture point. There's going to be 1 kill going the way of Flashpoint. Convergence will pull in the tanks. They're falling extremely low. Shipa's under a lot of pressure, but he goes down. Kills falling left, right, and center. Shipa barely staying alive there. Again, we talked about, you know, Sybate not being afraid to get aggressive, but Shipa's another one that can just go into Planet and just turn into Mr. Clutch.
I mean, that is what Shipa brings to this roster. I mean, he's the Scottie Pippen. He's that 6th man we talk about that is just puts D69 over the edge, Nick. You know, you have players that carry games like bugzy, even like eLvenpath at times. You know, you talk about PERDO. Shipa, he sits a little silently. Gerrah, he has the same role, but that's kind of the same for all healers. Shipa will get top damage 5 out of 9 games for D69, and we'll barely mention his names. I call him the stealth assassin. This guy does work, and he's so humble about it. I love the way he plays, and you always got to keep an eye out for him.
One of the coolest things about that roster, a lot of items starting to be finished here. Tier 3 offensive items on both sides of the field right now. Starting to get a little flavorful here with a couple morale boosts. In fact, We do see the morale boost 3 come out from Sarah, so looking to get a lot of convergence. And another King Bomb coming through from Fisheko once again, and this was a sneaky one. It's going to be around the backside. Another massive double kill for Fisheko's Bomb King. Dome Shield will come up on the point. bugzy surging through, but Fisheko once again making this team fight happen as he finds a 3rd kill in the backline with this Bomb King.
That is exactly what they need from Fisheko. That's why they drafted the Bomb King. You're going to leave Makoa. I don't care if he's got 2 seconds reduced to his hook. It's still a 9-second cooldown on one of the most, maybe the best ability in the game. But they gave it up for the BK, and this is why. Fisheko, he's made a name for himself on being masterclass on one of the stronger champions in the meta right now. Bomb King come into play, and Flashpoint looking strong again.
Jeez, here they go. 3-3 now. Flashpoint have taken the payload back. Sephicloud's going to be locked in here with eLvenpath now getting out. Caught between a little bit of a rock and a hard place there between Inara and the rest of D69, but it keeps continuing to flow. Fisheko finds another pick. Faenex finds bugzy on the front line. eLvenpath looks a little distracted, looks a little disjointed from his team. He's going to survive for the time being, but he was not there for his squad during that fight.
You know, what I'm worried about here is that the draft is starting to haunt them. You know, Ruckus, he could fall off like a late game because, of course, he's a tank, and those cauterize, those records, they start to hurt him with his sustain. But his damage, it doesn't fall off. He brings more than any other tank for the most part. And when you talk about other tanks like Makoa, even Inara, whose mobility can really get thrashed by, you see Fisheko going crazy on the Bomb King with the convergence, it just puts them in a very difficult position when they make one mistake here with cauterized 3s on the table.
Flashpoint they got really aggressive there. That was looking like a good fight to close out the point, but unfortunately for them, we see this happen from time to time where they're getting ahead of where the payload actually is in the game. There's still about 10% left to go on it. When they won that fight, it was just nowhere near convergence. They were unable to put it through. Another good wall from eLvenpath, trapping Faenex in here, but there's a nice barricade to bail him out. PERDO is going to send that through, and another King Bomb. Feels like the 6th King Bomb this game comes rolling through. Fisheko's looking for someone, looking for anyone. He's going to find PERDO on the backside, but Saibe trades out his life for it. A minute remain. Dome Shield comes down on the front, but Sephicloud will go down, so a big ultimate just disintegrated, not finding any value that time around.
You know, Fisheko's Bomb King ultimate had actually gone to the backside. If he went over, he didn't hit his head and lazy onto that banister up there, he would actually have, I think, gotten 2 or 3 kills. That might have been a team wipe, might have been GG. Instead, you see how detrimental that can be for their push. They lose one player, the Dome Shield goes out, they don't get value from it. These little mistakes can come back to haunt a team who's doing so well to be tied with D69 right now.
Yeah, finding their value in their ultimates was how they found themselves back in this game in the first place, so it kind of sucks to see them fall off of that sort of strategy there. Fisheko does find PERDO again, and always kind of the saving grace for me here. Whenever Flashpoint seems like they're down and might start to be looking like they're out, Fisheko just never gives up. Always finds big frags for his team. 9 seconds remain here for D69 to try and hold this defense. And they need to hold this defense if they want to take this game. 3 seconds remain here. They have the man advantage by about 2 man. Sephicloud super poked out. Shipa's going to take him down, though. And this is going to be a rough overtime to keep going for Flashpoint.
Yeah, it's going to be rough, but this overtime means so much for these teams. D69, they've got to hold on Flashpoint. They've got to push it. Who is going to come out at the end of the day? Obviously, D69 with the advantage here on the defensive end, so they will go ahead and take that one home. It's going to be all down to the wire here, Nick. You know, and looking at these items, what do you know, for me, the big thing is going to kind of show up are the master ridings for Inara. She's got master riding too. She's going to get to the point faster than anyone, which means those walls are going to come up and force Flashpoint into an awkward area, maybe taking a route the D69 know they have to go, and it's to their disadvantage.
Yeah, and some interesting resilience is coming out here as well. I just want to get out of things like the Inara Seismic Crash, Shipa's Impaler Stuns, Dread Serpents from Gerrah. It's going to be all important stuff, and you know, that's the type of thing that D69 kind of used to their advantage. They kind of coined the resilience, made it popular, and so it's a little surprising to me that they do continue to take Maldamba for that reason. You know, when Saris isn't really super effective by that resilience.
Absolutely. Saris not really effective in the Veil. The Shadow Travel, it's so good at getting away from tricky situations. eLvenpath caught in a bit of an awkward issue. That convergence that happened was unreal. This could be Flashpoint's game.
Go down, so that's just a big fragger already lost for Flashpoint. 45% on the point, though. Big Planet in the backline going to cancel it into stealth now, boxing out with Saibe. Saibe's going to come out on top with a little help from Sephicloud, and Flashpoint looking good, looking strong, but there's the Dread Serpent. Resiliences are going to help, but the tanks are split up from the healer. Can Fisheko save it with the Bomb King? Comes in, stuns out 2. 3 kills coming through for D69. 2 from PERDO. He just surging forward, continuing to frag. Another one for PERDO. They have Flashpoint, have Fisheko, but D69 have PERDO to lean on.
And that is so important because he's such a star. What a rock star. 4D69 comes in the clutch there, helps the complete zone, Nick. Can they hold it off? That's going to be the question. Flashpoint got to do something and do it fast.
90% here, moving in, 96%, 99 for D69. The Flashpoint's going to get in here. They're going to get the overtime. They're trying to take it. Hasn't been started yet. Trading out 1-for-1. Big dome shield. Sephicloud stays alive for this one as well. Just shooting barrack turrets. PERDO has nowhere to go. He falls. Bugzy falls. eLven falls. 99%. Flashpoint, turn it around. Take game number 1.
And that is what Dome Shield does. This is Dome Shield land, man. I mean, that's Bright Marsh, such a great example for this map of being close quarters where you don't want to stay in when anything bad is going around. I mean, you talk about a Grumpy Bomb, you talk about a Dome Shield from Barrack. I mean, that threat means you have to leave the whole room, and that is the big key. When it gets down to the nitty-gritty, when you get to the 99 percentile, even if you're that close, having to leave the room for just a few seconds means that you could lose the game, and that's exactly what Flashpoint, did. Sephicloud, he wasted a Dome Shield in round 3, but he came back real strong and used it perfectly in that last one.
Dear God, these numbers, man. We got 5 people over 100K damage. We got 1 man, gerrah, over 200,000 healing on his Maldamba. 220,000 in a 21-minute game. I mean, that's just exceptional Maldamba play. Part of that's going to come from Inara being immune to Cauterize for a lot of that game, whenever she pops that Earthen Guard, but that is just superior Maldamba play. That is entirely insane healing coverage just throughout the course. That is a long Paladins game, granted, but I mean, that's over 10,000 healing a minute. That's nuts.
Yeah, that, gerrah always comes to play. And this is what we talk about. You look at Shipa, he's 115,000 damage. Only 4,000 behind PERDO, which 120,000 damage on an Androxus is actually nutty. That's crazy. But, Shipa, gerrah, these guys are silent. They're deadly. And because they're silent, they're even deadlier. You don't see how well they're doing. It's not that obvious. But, man, did they make, a big impact here, Nick. But the person I really want to talk about, is this convergence that happened, I think, from CogCog, giving up the Seris when they had the opportunity to take her. I think that might have been a mistake.
Yeah, man, I'm kind of with you, especially because it pairs so well with characters like Shaolin, who can just launch his planet into it. And, even after Resilience, there's not much of a follow-up stun after the convergence, but just pulling everyone, grouping everyone up. Maybe they didn't want to pull it. You can block it with things like a Barrack Shield, but people aren't taking Fortified nowadays. I don't see Barrack Shield being up for a super long time. But Fisheko, man, did he have a game and a half here. 138,000 damage on his Bomb King. His Majesty title well earned.
No, I mean, you see Fisheko taking the Bomb King. You know exactly why they did it. Saibei, came in with a strong game as well. But Fisheko he earns his stripes. He's already earned them. Yeah. And that's why I think, he just comes to play here. You see people like Rovnik. It reminds me of the Masters LAN, where you see Rovnik, a guy who was so confident about his Bomb King play, but at LAN, it didn't really show up the way he wanted to. And I think when you have that confident type style of character you're really comfortable on, sometimes it's hit or miss in the big moments, but he really captured this moment. I'm really proud of how he played.
He was ulting a lot, too. I don't know if it's because he was shutting down some of these big streaks from the initial D69 momentum, but it just felt like every single other fight was just da-da-da-da-da-da, and then he'd come through. He's either getting a kill outright with the ultimate, or he's stunning multiple people, cleaning them up, and opening fights with 2 frags basically by yourself is why Bomb King is still such a high prioritized pick. No other character can really just do that.
Absolutely. He's really one of a kind here. And, taking a look at the next game, it will be played on Jaguar Falls, which is important to understand. It's still a very tight map. I don't expect to see a lot of different things come through, considering the fact that Bomb King is still very valuable in this matchup. Inara, still very valuable in this matchup. Seris, still very valuable in this matchup. I probably expect to see some things like a Lex. You might see an Androxus still as well, because of the fact that it's close quarters. But I'm really excited for the champion draft. I believe we'll get into that right now.
Yeah.
It will be Flashpoint taking the first pick this time, though, Nick. So I wonder if they'll go for the Inara. Oh, wow. They're going for the Makoa. So they just give Inara to D69.
So, this doesn't surprise me as much as it might surprise a lot of chat. At the end of the day, it's just 2 seconds off of Hook. It's not going to break the fact that a Dredge Anchor is still a man advantage in a fight. You know, you might get it. It's going to take another 2 seconds to come back up. But all you need is that one pick. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's really what you're after. And then everything after that is just icing on the cake.
Absolutely. It's very, very important to understand that, you know, what you're looking for on your team could be different. Some teams, they prioritize doing different things because each player is going to have a different strength. Being able to understand that, I think, is more impressive than just picking the top meta pick. They like the Makoa still. You know, people said the nerf is going to kill him. Look at this. Flashpoint still think he's #1 in their book. But the Bomb King and Inara go to D69. Now that gives Flashpoint the opportunity to steal 2 picks of their own, actually, and take the Maldamba now away from Gerrah. But so, I don't know if that's better or worse.
I do like these picks. I got to say, first off, you know, regardless of strategy, Flashpoint have taken good picks away from D69 thus far. But how will we respond as the Bomb King has been taken is a big one here. So Fisheko's not going to have that this time around. Saris will go to D69. But you're right. It depends what they're going for. And that's healthy, right? Makoa can still be first pick for a lot of strategies overall. As long as he's in a place where he's not first pick, regardless of what you're doing, is kind of the best thing for the health of, you know, the draft phase.
Absolutely. And, you know, I think when you look at a composition that's going to work for him, that's what you want. You want the state of the game to be where, hey, I think this champion is not only good, but they fit what we're going for. Not just this is the best thing in the world, and if you don't pick it, you lose. And that's what I think we've seen with the Masters Lamp. And we also know that we don't really want anymore. And that, I think, is where Flashpoint are living. I love the space that their heads are in. The Grok and the Drogo's coming in. Grok, kind of a double healer here. I'm expecting more of the Maelstrom to come out for the CC and the control, and Drogo's maybe just a great counter, one of the most guaranteed counters to that huge Inara pressure.
Yeah, so what they might be looking for is actually Totemic Ward. You know, it's going to give immunity to the King Bomb stun. It's giving immunity to Seismic Crash, Convergence, a lot of important things to District 69 strategy. And frankly, I love it.
Yeah, I love it too as well. You see the Fernando come in at the very end, which, you know, to me is not bad. The reason I think it's not bad is this. Fernando protects from the Dragon Punch, and I think that's what Flashpoint we're kind of hinging on for the counter to Inara here. And as well, it gives another beefy target. So Drogo's, you know, he may be baited into the Fernando and the Inara stays alive. Or he's baited to the Inara and the Fernando has the Immortal and he saves the Inara anyway. He gets nothing for his troubles. This puts the Drogos into a tricky situation going into this game. With all these close quarters, these characters are not going to be able to run from each other. It's going to be an exciting one here on Jaguar Falls coming up right after this. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to game number 2 here between D69 and Flashpoint. On your left-hand side, you'll see Flashpoint stepping it up into Jaguar Falls with CogCog playing Maldamba, and he's going to go with Spirit's Chosen, the extra healing legendary. Very interesting. Fisheko on the Fusillade Drogos, Pluck Makoa for Sephicloud, Totemic Ward, CC immunity for Cybe 8, and the extra healing and Flux Generator for Faenex's Ruckus.
That's Totemic Ward. Can't wait to see how that one plays out. But D69, this time they're going to have the Bomb King with Accelerant, Mortal Reach for the Saris, Death Hastens for PERDO's, Lex, Mother's Grace for Elvin's, and Nara Aegis for Shipa's Fernando?
Wow, Shipa on Fernando, you gotta be kidding me. What am I watching here? Is this a dream or is this a dream come true? Shipa, the damage carry a lot of times for D69, but now we might need to start calling him a flex, Nick, going in there with the shield, 15% for Flashpoint, and he's charging in, trying to finish off Cybe 8 on the Grok, who's typically a damage carry as well. This is just a tale of different roles for great players.
Yeah, this is really, really strange. Faenex goes down as well. D69 taking this one in spades. PERDO on his Lex. He's going to get hooked out and slaying the first kill. They're going away of Flashpoint, but they are getting cleaned up in this fight. Elvin, maybe a little bit overextended here. Does clean up Fisheko, so he got what he came for. Walls off Sephicloud as well. Gets back to the point. 75% already claimed for D69, so another good start, but anything can happen.
And absolutely, you know, looking at this early game, D69 probably them with the 2 big frontliners, the 2 tanks, and played by such veteran players. You see PERDO takes down CogCog as well. He's known to be very effective on this map with Lex. He's got the vision coming out from that flanker's inherent ability to just see targets through walls and kind of see where they're coming from, get the first shot which hurts so much with that Death Hastings legendary. But now, Flashpoint, they've overtaken the point and are in control.
So big swaps on rolls, Side-bait on the Grok here, and how he uses this Totemic Ward cooldown is going to be paramount to its success in the draft. Here comes the convergence from gerrah, already has it on the line. One's going to get pulled in, CogCog, he stays alive for the time being. Faenex just has to get on this, just trying to keep overtime going.
Great stuff by Faenex there, but he falls down nonetheless, and it looks like Shipa on the point, very, very good at holding down the objective is Fernando, and he's doing a great job of it as well. The CC immunity from Totemic Ward won't help, and neither will an Immortal because it doesn't get popped. Fisheko slams into Shipa, shuts him down. Overtime still taken away.
Insane Totemic Ward coming out from Side-bait. It may have been enough to clutch the payload, and it was. Nice stuff from Flashpoint. Fisheko cleans up a double kill as well. D69 fall down again, 1-0.
And you know what? This is just such an incredible performance by Flashpoint coming in despite not having the advantage in that early game. They had to play their ultimates perfectly, and they do. Hexafire from Faenex. Very, very good value because it puts Shipa in a bad spot. They finally kill him. He doesn't get the immediate kill, but he forces him so far back. This is guaranteeing another 15% easily of the payload push for them. So I love that decision to use the ultimate a little earlier than usual.
2 minutes to get it there as well. Already over halfway, PERDO finding big shots on the Side-bait. He falls back, has to get healed up by Maldon, but Sephicloud could be in a rough spot here, but bugzy looks like he's just been on the back foot this whole game. PERDO's going to throw out the in pursuit, but Sephicloud is being a monster in this backline right now, just ripping D69 apart.
And getting another hook as well. Sephicloud doing a great job. And he puts PERDO into the dirt. He falls himself, an Immortal from Fernando's, forcing CogCog back. And now it's a big-time fight. bugzy goes down. Fisheko helps him, and CogCog stays alive. They've got the healer. They've got the dragon. They've got Ruckus. And they've got damage. Could they have 2 points? Dear God, Flashpoint look like they might just be getting everything going their way here on Jaguar Falls.
Seris is so good for stalling, but she's going to bomb and immediately comes through. Fisheko on his Fusillade, 10 streak for the Drogos, 13 for Side-bait. Immense plays coming out from Flashpoint. And to be frank with you, I don't know. I don't know whose comp falls off harder going into the late game. Probably Flashpoint, but just ever so slightly. D69 do have a little bit more damage online as they've taken, Lex and Bomb King versus, we could say Grok, I guess, is kind of the pseudo damage right now, but Grok and Drogos are going to have a lot more weight to carry going into the later stages of the game. But hell, this is exactly the start that Flashpoint want.
To me, this is a weird pickup for the Totemic Ward because you've got the main healer. So Grok, what he usually does is bring that, that critical kind of CC control and damage as a pseudo support. So he's going to help you carry those damage numbers. But now, as they get in the late game, you're right. With the cauterizes coming through, that's going to hurt Side-bait's legendary choice even more since he went Totemic Ward. I wonder if he'll be able to keep it going as the payload fight starts. The objective ready to go. 15% already for D69.
We're looking for some kills here this time around. Fisheko comes just ripping in with the Dragon Punch. There's no Immortal available. No choices there. Shipa just has to go down. Another great kill by Fisheko. Faenex moving on to start capturing this point. A lot of damage being ripped into eLvenpath right now. In a bad spot. Hexafire comes out, but can it break through that wall?
Not enough there. eLvenpath in the back line, but Fisheko with these Fusillade Drogos. The seismic crash comes through, but the CC immunity keep Faenex and Side-bait there long. Fight back and make sure that D69 can't capitalize off of Inar's incredible ultimate there, and a great salvo from Fisheko. The irony of seeing this man take away bugzy's Drogos and beat him at his own game, while bugzy now struggling with D69 on the Bomb King.
Counter Dread Serpent comes through from CogCog. It's huge. It splits up Shipa and bugzy. They both go down. Double kill for Faenex. Beautiful plays from Flashpoint. They are playing out of their minds right now as they go up 3-0 over the reigning land champs.
I mean, you don't expect this to happen, right? bugzy, you consider him such a veteran in the scene. Fisheko, veteran as well, been playing for a bit and, has a lot of people's respect, but take away bugzy's Drogos. You don't expect to outplay him this hard right now. bugzy just not showing a lot of momentum on this Bomb King, and he'd much rather be on this Dragon in the Sky in this type of a matchup. He's just not able to.
I think it might be, partly to do with Sephicloud just keeping him under pressure in a lot of this game. Side-bait using some great Totemic Wards to just, do 69, give him a taste of their own medicine, do something unexpected, and just do something to really just hard counter a lot of the strategy, which was crowd control going into this game.
Absolutely. This Dragon Punch is definitely charged up. Fusillade hits so hard, and, that charges up based on the damage that you do. And so he's getting that Dragon Punch riled and ready. He's going to go in on the left-hand side, hits the wall through. Is he going to get bugzy? Oh, goes just too close, but not close enough. And he's going to turn it around. No bugzy. With the help of eLvenpath, stays alive and takes down the dragon. Missed opportunity there for Fisheko and Flashpoint.
Absolutely. And this is the first time we've seen D69 kind of stabilize, you know, for the first point in this game. So what they do with this time, if they finally have time to communicate, maybe talk a little bit about what's going wrong instead of just brawling the entire game. So they have to use this team wisely, or the defending land champs are going to find themselves down in the semifinals.
King Bomb ready for bugzy. He has that opportunity, as well as all 5 members of D69 who have 5 ultimates ready to go. Fisheko just used his, but guess what, guys? He's at 91% again. This Drogos with Fusillade is charging like a maniac, and he is ready to use this. They are not expecting it, but the Immortal is ready. So even though they don't think he's having it this fast, he's going to be able to immune it. And there's the Immortal comes out. The Dragon Punch avoided. The Law actually not working, and Shipa's able to stay alive with the shield.
A lot of damage to come through. Here's a convergence as well. Here comes the seismic crash, but Sephicloud's already found 2 in the backline. Can the King Bomb be enough? The CC immunity is there. Is the healing enough? Keeps them all alive. PERDO finds 2. He's going to have to go big in this team fight, and he doesn't. That's it. Flashpoint find game number 2 in explosive fashion.
And I eat my words. I eat my words because they didn't care about the late game. They didn't care at all, Nick. They just wanted to win this game in under 11 minutes, and they did so. They basically took it to them. They had the CC immunity. They had all the damage in the world. They banked this off of Fisheko playing lights out, and he carried them to perfection. 69,000 damage for him in an under 11-minute game, topping the charts by everyone by at least 10,000 in the entire game, and only dying 3 times. You know, there's so much to say about this squad, but for me, it just masterclass performances coming around. Flashpoint have stepped up their game to another level.
Was it the totemic war? I mean, Fisheko definitely huge impact, but you know, a couple of clutch, you know, totemic wards from Grok, Cybe 8, insane. You know, the Fisheko King Bombs were the saving grace in game number 1 that allowed Flashpoint, I think, to come back and take that game. This time around, you know, maybe they realized they're like, we don't want to have that happen to us. I mean, they first picked Bomb King the first chance they got. So, you know, Cybe 8 late in the draft, take that totemic ward, Grok, really just go deep into the champ pool to try and figure out how to beat the reigning land champs.
And again, just mentioning it, they did such a good job. They sacrificed our. Said we got to win early because we won't have the healing this legendary provides. You know, it'll get shut down even more countered by cauterize. But what we will have is the CC immunity. So we're going to try and win big, win fast, and make sure we counter these ultimates that they try to stop us with that have huge CC. And that is what's been Inara's Achilles heel this entire time, ever since she was released. Hey, that ultimate, if you get resilience, if you have CC immunity, doesn't do enough damage to really change a fight. And that's what so many different times they were able to really counter out the convergence, the King Bomb, and Inara's seismic crash. We got map 3 ready to go. Game 3, D69 down 2 games to Flashpoint. I didn't think I'd ever say this in my life, but Serpent Beach is where they have the opportunity to redeem themselves.
We're ready for the champion draft here for game number 3. We'll be on Serpent Beach, so can D69 turn it around? What do they go to now? I mean, this is their map. This is where they kind of coined what I thought was a really cool, you know, meta-shifting sort of draft for me, where they drafted a ton of mobility and a Torvald as well. So just a total dive composition. I really hope that they go back to it because I loved it.
No, I really did like it, and I want to see more Torvald. I think right now we're caught up a little bit in the Inara love, the Inara craziness, but a first pick Androx
is going for it.
9 to me.
I think they're going for it.
You think this is Torvald all the way?
For it, you know, they got to get PERDO on this. Okay, so this is good for a couple of reasons. Androxus is gonna fit into basically anything D69 wants to do. Period. PERDO's nuts on it. Dissuades the Drogos pickup early from Flashpoint, so they could hold on to that if they wanted to later in the draft. I don't know where bugzy's head's at right now. I don't know what he's wanting to play. You know, whether he goes Bomb King or Drogos, but this is going to fit into almost any strategy that D69 is going to look to pull.
You know, I just love Paladins, man. I'm sorry. I just love Paladins because this is a game where we start looking at all these champions and they say, look, this is strong. This is strong. This is strong. You got to pick this. But you don't realize that all these other champions have these great counters to it. And D69 playing more of the patient game because they lost this round going with, hey, let's go a bunch of CC-oriented things, and then, hey, Grok, and we'll just CC immune all of it. They're playing a little bit more patiently, haven't even picked up their tank yet because they don't want to fall into that same trap.
So no Drogos just yet. Cassie Saris being hovered right now. Neither locked in just yet, but no Drogos after the performance just had. Flashpoint just can't do it into the Androxus. You know, they're going by the book here. I don't think they're letting their emotions get to them. If they keep their draft solid, their play solid, and don't get too excited and then end up throwing, I think Flashpoint might be able to take this, and it's not going to be the Torvald dive strategy here.
So it might be the Barrack, and it is. It's the Barrack as the solo front line with the Maldamba, which is deadly, you know, and can definitely hold its own. You've got a lot of CC, but maybe not enough to invest into so many resiliences or a Grok right now, which is giving Flashpoint a bit of a difficult decision, but they are looking to hover the Grok. Are they going to take it despite not having that Inara pressure like last time, but they will. So I wonder if we'll see a Maelstrom here, or we'll still see the CC immunity come out.
Yeah, the difference here, Dread Serpent, King Bomb, obviously. Ice Storm as well. You know, it's kind of one of the lesser known CC ults in the game because Eevee's not really at the top of the food chain right now, but the persistent slow and cripple with Ice Storm is big, especially when you've got a Bomb King just ripping you to shreds. So they can run it back here with a Totemic Ward, but hopefully D69 don't really fall for it twice. They probably have been talking about some way to play around this now.
Yeah, and you know what, Flashpoint, I mean, they have a very good to make sure that they can't be countered. I mean, I don't know how, unless you get that resilience early enough, you're going to be able to counter a full convergence. And with the Hexafire comboed off of that with the Ruckus, they've got a lot of follow-up potential. Maybe not as much as they would have had if a Bomb King or another Blaster there, but we'll have to see if it works out for them. It's worked out 2 games in a row. Why not 3? We'll see on Serpent Beach in just a second if Flashpoint can do the deadly deed and sweep D69 out of this week's qualifiers, or if the top dogs will find a way to come back. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to kick this thing off. You all have been waiting to see what transpires, and so have Nick and myself. It's been a crazy set. Flashpoint ahead of the Masters Land champions, one of the best teams in Europe, D69, trying to close it out. On Serpent Beach, it is going to be D69 from the champions. Bugzy playing Accelerant Bomb King. Architectonics eLvenpath on the Barrack. Ripen Gord Maldamba for Gerrah. Wormhole Eevee for Shipa. And Darkstalker Androxus for PERDO.
Trying to make their way to the finals here. Flashpoint will have CogCog on the Mortal Reach. Sarah's going to be Exaction for Fisheko's Cassie. Faenex will be running Flux Generator. Ruckus going to be a Pluck for Sephicloud's Makoa. Running back the Totemic Ward for Cyb 8's Grok with 2 Cauterizes, a Wrecker, and a Morale Boost. D69 head to the field with 3 Cauterizes.
And in my ideas, you know, in my eyes, I think Bugzy needs to show up big today. We know he can do it. We know he's done it. He's not on the Drogos, which we know he's so comfortable, so good at, but he is on the Bomb King. He's got to prove himself right here. Both him and Lazy on the 2 respective big juggernauts of Europe have had to really make sure they master this champion. The Grumpy Bomb goes out. Twitch sponsored there, and he's going to try and do a little bit of damage. Gets the stun, and that is the first blood on a Faenex.
And that might just be the team fight here. Shipa, though, 300 health to his name. Doesn't able to blink out. Really cool watching Eevee wormhole in, wormhole out. 36% for Flashpoint, but D69 slowly were taking control of this fight. They're trading out kills right now, but yeah, D69 total control right now, going to take the lead.
I mean, it was the stun right there. You see it. That's what Bomb King brings to a fight, and Bugzy playing really patiently as well, giving his team 60% on the capture objective, but we all know it's not out. And look at this. He just bumps back, so patient by Bugzy. He doesn't want to make any mistakes. He knows that D69's backs are against the wall. Faenex trying to creep in again, but a Grumpy Bomb is ready if they try to make a move.
Here they go. Grumpy Bomb not coming out just yet. Reloading. Bugzy up on the high ground. There's the Accursed Arm already online. Double kill for it as well. PERDO having one of those days.
Woo! Shipa on the flick. Return shot takes down Sephicloud with the help of eLvenpath. Oh, she dangerous right now. Out of the air, out of the sword, pursuing CogCog, anticipating where he's going to get out of the shadow travel, and he gets him yet again. He is deadly no matter who you put him on. Shipa helping D69 to secure this first objective.
2 minutes to get it to the end of the course here. Bomb King Accelerant up onto the high ground here. Good high ground control overall from D69's draft, and significantly lacking in that from Flashpoint. So Bugzy's going to have a beautiful angle here, and really nobody to contest him, or at least nobody to sneak up on him.
PERDO now looking for the reversal, wants to hit a couple shots, headshot in the air, looking for Cyb 8 as well. Shell Shield not going to save him, he knows. Fishko's on his trail. Fisheko with the Cassie, actually going to dodge roll back. With exaction, though, hits a big bonus shot. PERDO in trouble. Oh, great anticipation of the roll, but Fisheko catches him out. What a great duel to watch.
139 remaining here, trying to pressure out this Grok, but the healing is frankly just too much. Eevee just couldn't out DPS. It's Soar up onto the high ground, and this was a big problem we saw in some of these Serpent Beast drafts last game. You know, when D69 have all the high ground mobility and control, there's no one to chase them from Flashpoint, so it's really hard to confirm these kills.
I mean, where does Fisheko go? I mean, he's Cassie. He can't get up there. Grok, how does he get up there? Makoa, how does he get up there? Saris, how does he get up there? Ruckus, if he was Bitey, he'd be flying out in the air. We'd be talking to him more than in the sky. But, of course, he's not running Flux Generator, so they just have no way to contest that. Nick, you're absolutely right. This could be their Achilles heel.
And moving up, blinking back in, pressuring out Fisheko. A lot of damage, though. He's going to clean it up, maintains bonus damage. PERDO gets one as well. bugzy's getting in there with the King Bomb, looking to set everybody up. Ice Storm has just come online. If Shipa even feels like he needs it at this stage of the game, there's the Totemic Ward going up, going down very quickly, though.
You know, there are moments where Flashpoint seems so strong, and right now they're seeming weaker than ever. D69 maybe have turned the tide, turned on the switch, knowing, hey, we got to get serious. Backs against the wall. We got to make this happen, and they certainly have. 30 seconds left, though. They're not home yet. They're at the home stretch, though. Sephicloud feeling the pressure from Bomb King. Grumpy Bomb could be big here, but oh, look at that Ice Storm from Eevee. Locks down one tank, locks down another bugzy, and the Winter Witch combined to put the pressure on Saris in Veil. She's going to get stunned by this Grumpy Bomb. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. D69 with a 2-0 lead.
Just stepping off, and, you know, the cool thing about today, you know, win or lose Flashpoint, is that they've shown they have what it takes to compete at this level. And from what it looks like, it's mostly, you know, can they draft smart enough? If they draft well, they win the game. And that's a really cool thing to see, because once you get to the point where mechanically you can compete with, you know, 50 Shades of Snake, with D69, that's really where you start to take off as a team. So this roster has really come together. And now the more often you get to the later in the stage in the tournament, when you get to play against D69, when you get to draft against them more, you get better and better at it. And then you're going to have a better and better shot going, you know, forward into these tournaments. And Europe just getting so strong as a region. I think as a result, the amount of competition in this region is really starting to trickle down into these lower seeded teams.
It's trickle down economics actually really working here, and you know, maybe trickle down expertise coming forward. You know, it's sink or swim in Europe, and right now Flashpoint, although they have swum farther than anybody would have expected today, they are sinking currently under the pressure from D69. 42% onto the objective. They're looking to capture this one straight ahead without any contest. PERDO making good work of CogCog, put him under pressure, and this could be the end of Flashpoint's resistance.
One more kill going to go the way of Flashpoint here. Gerrah's going to claim the life of Saibé, but Fisheko does come through on top of eLvenpath. Faenex finds PERDO. bugzy takes down CogCog. 2 members left from both teams right now. Nobody confident enough to take foot on the point, but D69 definitely way closer to that 100% mark than Flashpoint.
Gerrah just making such a great play there. Finishing off Fisheko on the Cassie. Not easy to do. Saving his Slither for the perfect moments, and he does fall. Sephicloud and Faenex have enough help to get in there, and the Hexifier might just turn things around. PERDO gets out of dodge quick with the Wreck Chest Pistola, trying to get some damage, and he's not having fun. No, he's playing this serious. Knows his team needs to win, and 75%, they've just given up this capture objective. Nick, they might lose this one unless they can get back on it and touch it right now, and they sure do.
They're going to get the overtime for sure, and coming back in with this King Bomb here, bugzy could have a big impact. He's going to take down CogCog immediately and put a lot of damage into Faenex, takes him down as well. One ultimate was all D69 needed here. They are cleaning this team fight up 4 for 1 as it stands right now. One more member of Flashpoint left to claim, and that is going to be found with ease.
Strength in numbers there, Nick. You know, D69 able to clean things up really well against Flashpoint. I want to point one thing out. Shipa, gerrah did. He was in the back line healing with Maldamba. You don't notice the nuances, but a lot of times he'll heal his teammates with the gourd. He'll throw that out offensively, but he'll use really that right mending spirits, that right click, to do most of the healing onto his primary targets. But when he is positioning as a support, staying in the fight when he needs to, staying out of the fight when he needs to, and being hard to kill, it's one of the things we don't mention a lot about him, but he's so tough to bring down.
It's important stats for a support. It's just a low death count. So Fisheko rolling up here onto the high ground. Going to claim the life of PERDO. eLvenpath falls down as well. Shipa's looking for some angles here, but struggling to find anything worth exploiting, and she's just going to back up, wait for a couple of his respawns. Bugzy does find Fisheko on the high ground, so that's going to go back completely in control of D69, and that's when we really start to see these fights turn.
Shipa's Eevee is a thing of beauty. Blinks in, gets the double shot there. The Ice Storm is ready, and you know this Winter Wind is ready to do some magic onto her enemies. CogCog gets hit once, twice, forces the shadow travel, which is as good as maybe getting a kill. Might put her under pressure so that one of his other teammates can do it, but right now he's content to fall back. That's what Eevee does. Hard to kill, does a ton of damage, puts the pressure on, and forces you to use your cooldowns, and then he blinks right back to safety.
Struggling to get anything really going here. Hooked off the high ground into the ice block. Shipa gets bursted down. Wow. I mean, only 1,800 HP, but still just a fraction of a second to do it there. Flashpoint, get it done, and they're keeping this trickle going. That's what you need to do with Makoa. You need to be landing a hook every single time it's off cooldown. Granted, that cooldown is now 2 seconds longer, but that just makes it all the more important to hook.
You know, but they might have already lost this, Nick. You know, if they stay this grouped up, Bugsy's King Bomb is going to absolutely annihilate this team. So if they don't get this space pushed up, if they don't get Fisheko and maybe Sephicloud up a little farther, this King Bomb's going to hit all 5. It's going to completely get too much value, but there's the value already gotten. Bugzy, without having to do anything, gets 800 and maybe 1,000 damage onto Fisheko, finishes him off, and now the King Bomb coming through. Look at this. He's going to take Faenex out of dodge, but a great convergence to stall this out. Faenex still going to fall, and Bugzy's still alive, and that's the big issue.
Dome Shield's going to come out from eLvenpath as well. No more cooldowns, but he just popped the big one. Going to get under it, staying safe as well. Actually takes down CogCog with what looks like a shot from a turret. Another shot from a turret claims Fisheko here. That's a turret play of the game.
Oh, there it is. And these turrets, they want to win just as much as eLvenpath does. You know, it's a lonely life as a turret. You don't get a lot of praise very often. And so we could certainly say turrets MVP in that one. I think everyone watching knows you did the most here, buddy. So congrats to the turrets. This one's for you. Taking a look at the scoreboard, though, you know, Nick, not surprising to me, the big story, Bugzy, his patience, you know, almost the most credits in this game, 70,000 damage, but the 3 deaths, you know, really a great transitionary performance for him in my eyes, going from maybe not really having a handle on the Bomb King in the last couple of games to really finding his rhythm.
Absolutely. Not a lot of pressure as well. He had almost total control of the high ground. So I'm going to put this more personally on a bad draft, I think, from Flashpoint. You know, not drafting any high ground control. They look like they kind of wanted to do the same thing again. And it just wasn't, or D69 rather, weren't so invested heavily this time around into that crowd control as they were in the previous game. It wasn't as important to being able to pull off a team fight. Bugzy was finding most of those kills without King Bombs, and the King Bombs were just kind of a cherry on top.
Oh, absolutely. And I think when you get the value of the Grumpy Bomb, that's when you know that you're either positioning well or you're forcing the enemy into places they don't want to be. It's almost like, you know, if a perfect scenario comes through, you don't have to get hit by the Grumpy Bomb. But if one player puts the pressure on, it forces your movement skill. Another player puts the pressure on and it forces your shield. Then all of a sudden, you don't really have any tools left to deal with a Grumpy Bomb that's right where you need to be standing in order to keep capturing the objective. So I love the way that, you know, you mentioned it's a team effort, that he didn't have the pressure on him, probably because Shipa was just in their face. 2 deaths only by him. You know, he had a fantastic game, and it goes to show that 1 death we caught on camera, that was 50% of the amount of times that he died in that entire game.
That's a big part about Eevee as well, staying safe. It's hard to do on a high burst damage team like the ones Flashpoint have, especially with Makoa as well, but he does a good job of it, as well as keeping going with the wormhole playstyle, which is sort of the playstyle of old. Bugzy brought Eevee back, in my opinion, but he brought it back with reprieve. We haven't seen a lot of the old school Eevees been able to just switch over to that. It's just such a big change. It's almost like a different character.
Absolutely. You know, and so they're going to switch the scene. They're going to go to Stone Keep now. The next map is ready and available, and you know, the champion draft will be an interesting one on this, because we typically see all the highlight plays when we look back at the YouTube channels and all the other areas that we're taking a look at the videos that come from these tournaments. We see Bugzy getting 10, 12, maybe even 32 streaks on Stone Keep. D69 notoriously very good with Drogos on this map. But with the transition into Bomb King, the priority with maybe a Nara and the lack of mobility, and, you know, CC maybe playing a bigger role in this meta, do you think he's going to really prioritize that Drogos, or will it be Bomb King yet again?
Prioritizing the Drogos early on is going to depend how much emphasis they put on the Androxus this time around. And they could, you know, I like the Androxus because it does leave them open, but it's an interesting dichotomy here because taking away Bomb King isn't really taking away Bomb King for me.
You know, you mentioning Bomb King. I mean, the champion draft is ready to go, Nick, and I think it's important to take a look at who will be the next in line here for D69 to pick up. But it won't be their choice. It'll be Flashpoint, actually, that end up getting the best of the draft selection. They get Makoa locked in first, and that is extremely important. You know, for me, I think taking the big turtle #1, despite the fact that he's had a couple of nerfs, that's going to be incredibly valuable for this team in setting the pace. The other thing, too, you know, looking at it, is that with D69 here, in my eyes, Bomb King and Androxus, a pretty decent follow-up as well. We asked, is the Drogos going to be something they prioritize? Currently, not yet. Bomb King seems to be very, very positive for D69. And despite bugzy having a couple of slip-ups, couple of hiccups in the first part, still decides to lock in the King. So now, following this, Flashpoint, they've got a big question here. Do they take Seris? Do they take the Maldamba away from Gerrah, which they've done in the past? Will they go with this 2-healer lineup with Side-8 playing the Totemic Ward Grok? Kind of weird, right? Not something that we've seen a lot, but the Torvald and the Seris locked in. To me, I'm surprised beyond all amounts because this is not something I expected to see. Torvald has a lot of areas to affect Stone Keep. It's a longer length getting to that payload, getting to the objective, and he's got a couple areas at the crucial moments of the final push that he could actually knock people off. So Flashpoint take this away, maybe because they see the value, maybe because eLvenpath's done this a lot with D69 and really put a couple of teams to shame with some huge hyper beams. Gerrah will get his Maldamba, though, as a result of that, and it leaves Ruckus on the table, who's been highly prioritized in EU. Same story with Ruckus, if you don't know, is that no changes ever, it feels like, and he just goes into and out of the meta. He just can be a top pick. He can be a low pick. It doesn't matter because this guy brings so much depending on the composition. He's a great secondary tank, which allows me to think that either D69 are going to force a Flashpoint pick and see if they go with a Kinessa here, see if they need to draft an EV, somebody to deal with the backline pressure. Victor's kind of common, but not so much in EU right now. And see if they need a flanker, or they may pick up another tank if they feel comfortable, or they may not. Inara, not very strong with the open areas of Stone Keep. She's more of a Frozen Guard, Bright Marsh, Jaguar Falls type of girl. So Shaolin and Drogos, definitely very good picks. And this is the biggest kind of point is all. D69, they didn't need it. bugzy had already given up the Drogos, so they knew that they were going to get it guaranteed. He's the only one who plays that on that team. So Flashpoint took a great pick late. And now here's the secondary tank because they've got no Kinessa. They've got no backline pressure. They don't need the flanker, so they'll go with the extra tank. It's looking very good. If I had to decide, I'd take a look at D69 here. Just the fact that they've got the Dread Serpent, the fact they've got the Dome Shield, the King Bomb, and I think just the higher DPS point fight for me. They might just take this one. Of course, at Flashpoint, they're in the lead. They ended up wrapping it up and getting a win. They will go into the finals against the winners of the semifinals in the bottom round. We'll find out in just a sec as we get ready for this next game. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Game 4 here of this first semifinal in Week 3 of the Paladins Summer Open Qualifiers. It's D69 versus Flashpoint. Left-hand side, you'll see the draft a little different than before, but this is what we're playing with today. It's CogCog, going to be on Maldamba with Spirit's Chosen. Mother's Grace, so Inara will make her presence felt today with Fisheko playing her. Bounce House buff for Side-8. Flux Generator on Ruckus for Faenex, and Pluck for Sephicloud Makoa.
Their opponents will be the reigning land champs, D69 with the Mortal Reach, Seris for Gerrah. It's going to be Recurve for Shipa, Shaolin, Darkstalker for PERDO, and Androxus, Accelerant for bugzy's Bomb King, and a Field Study for Elven's Torvald. And oh, buddy, Field Studied Shipa Shaolin is going to be a nightmare for Flashpoint.
Can't wait to actually see Gerrah play Seris as well. Such a masterclass healer, seeing him in control of the newest healer in the realm. Should be exciting. A great hook, though. eLvenpath out of position, but bugzy will capitalize on the pressure and the space that it's provided and take down Side-8 with 27% already for Flashpoint on the objective.
Sephicloud knocks out PERDO out of the sky with the hook, but bugzy's able to give the follow-up peel just with pure damage and brawn. This Bomb King is ripping through 3 kills in that engagement for bugzy's Bomb King.
Absolutely superhero levels of play here by Shipa as well. 4th streak for him, running through the damage numbers, running at about 6K, but a little bit behind the Androxus and bugzy on the Bomb King coming in second. He's definitely shown up here lately, and 99%, 100% captured for D69. I mean, put PERDO on Androxus, put bugzy on Bomb King lately, and they are coming to play.
Yeah, and this is what's going to be scary, I think, is PERDO has been very aggressive on his Androxus today. You know, more so than usual, which is weird because he's not somebody who just kind of flips a switch like that.
Yeah.
15 deaths on Brightmarsh, basically doubling anyone close on his team. This time around, though, he will have a Saris combination with the Torvald, allowing him to just, you know, have that unbridled aggression and probably not be able to get punished for it. It's just too much mitigation.
I did see a 1400 crit just come out from PERDO with the Androxus, and that's with a field study bubble. 40% damage amplification. That's going to do a lot when you're headshotting like PERDO often does. Oh, nice defiance there into Faenex's face. Hits the reverse. He's actually going to dash through. One-shot flick, turn around, dash again. PERDO masterclass with these mechanics. D69 masterclass with the plays. And, of course, it looks like they just might get themselves a 2-0 lead on Stone Keep.
That's it. You know, no contest possible to come out from Sidebait there. He could have maybe come out. I mean, he could have done the thing. It's when you kind of, it's the point where you're complaining at your teammate for not contesting, even though deep down in your heart, you know the round was already over there. So not wanting to feed any more credits than he had to. Sidebait just likes to stay in base there. 5 ultimates for District 69, 1 ultimate for Flashpoint. That round was so quick. Maldamba was the only one on Flashpoint even able to get his ultimate charged.
I mean, that round was so fast. I think if Drogos was playing, he wouldn't have gotten his ultimate charge. I mean, this is absolute domination by D69, who have turned a leaf in this set. It's taken maybe 2 games, but they have found their rhythm. Maybe they had to wake up. Maybe these guys had a rough night the night before. Who knows what eLvenpath does before he plays a game. Maybe he went out and partied, but right now, he is serious in the game zone. It's all business, baby, for D69 as Shipa lays out with an Impale Arrow, misses it, but the Planets will keep Faenex in a bad spot for now.
No kills coming through just yet. 39% on the point. King Bomb rolling through. Bugzy's looking for something. A nice Dread Serpent's going to split up the follow-up to that King Bomb, but Bugzy didn't even need it. He's going to be able to find a kill on it regardless of Cursed Arm. He knows Inara has nothing left to contest with. She doesn't get pulled in. She's going to stay alive for the time being.
And that's really important. You know, the CC immunity doesn't allow the convergence to make do, and so she's going to be able to skate out but die eventually. I talked about Inara not being there on this map as a priority, but they take her anyways. The open levels, the lack of ability to really shut off a lot of pathways with that wall, unless you already have an advantage, means that she's not going to be as effective as she would on other maps.
eLvenpath with a massive double hyper beam there. Just basically that won the payload right then and there. There's no way that Flashpoint are going to be able to contest this with just 3 members left alive. So D69 going to come away with this next payload here. After a short overtime stint, a couple of tanks are going to flop their way on, but this one is done and dusted off the back of that beautiful hyper beam from eLvenpath.
One of the great things here, taking a look at the way that D69 play this as well. They apply the pressure and then they go back. They don't trickle back. They go back as a unit, as a group, and they recapture this thing. Gerrah doing a great job of keeping his healing presence alive. Still trailing the Maldamba, if you bring up the stats, by about 16,000, 15,000.
I think it's because his team's just not taking that much damage.
But his team isn't dying enough. That's right, Nick. They haven't done enough damage to heal it up. And so he's just sitting back comfortably, not having to do too much work today.
Still plenty of ultimates here. We got the Accursed Arm. Hyper Beam is basically there once again. eLvenpath super good at getting that charge back up. Heat Haze still there. I mean, they're using ultimates, but D69 are just charging these faster than I have ever seen, running no morale boosts either. Actually, no, gerrah does have 1 on his Saris.
I mean, this is just giving you an idea of how much damage they're doing. Every member on D69, even Torvald, except gerrah on the Saris, is out dealing damage in terms of every member on Flashpoint, which isn't typical. Usually you see one heavy hitter on the side of Flashpoint carrying the damage load for their team, but there's no one contesting. I mean, you can't even beat a Torvald here. What is going on? It's huge collapse.
Nothing to get off the ground here. Flashpoint, they were riding high and now crashing and burning in game Number 4, trying to get it done here. Separated off, eLvenpath is from the rest of his team, but D69 unfazed. They can operate, you know, as a group of 4. Any amount of players, they know what they need to be doing here. Up 3-0, looking for conversion. Going to be on the back foot for the time being. Gerrah hopefully doesn't go down here. He's going to escape with his life, but still a minute left to push this just 10% of the way.
Only thing this is missing for me is not enough Rex sprays. I need to see some more get Rex sprays coming out from D69. I know that they're down, but they got to feel confident that they're taking this one home to the bank. I mean, if Flashpoint are able to turn this around, I'll be incredibly surprised. But you know what? We weren't expecting them to win the first 2 games, so anything can happen. You got to stay on your toes, and that's what D69, that's why they're playing so well. They're treating Flashpoint like 50 Shades of Snake. They're treating him like the best opponent in the world and really just taking it to him, all systems going.
bugzy and PERDO go down. Come in, ultimates blazing, but I like the response with the Hexafire just to immune the stun from that King Bomb there and just return fire onto bugzy. It's going to buy them some time. Only 17 seconds remain here, so we'll see if it's enough. If it's D69, ooh, nice wall from Fisheko. Might not save his life, though. May have overextended just a hair.
And that's what you know this map does. It just doesn't allow Inara to be herself, be the way that she wants to. Stonekeep, I guess if you probably looked at the stats, this is just a hypothetical, but probably where Inara does average to below average. And so it's an interesting pick. She is strong, but maybe not strong enough to overcome all these circumstances. Faenex, though, trying to prove his worth, going to take down the healer. Gerrah, eLvenpath, and Shipa, and PERDO will fall like dominoes, and that will be a successful defense for Flashpoint, showing some signs of life here, Nick.
Nice swings as well. Need to use the Buckwild ultimate, but not a whole lot gained or lost there. Need to stay in the game, I think is the important note.
Yeah.
So Flashpoint are able to do just that, get their items, their offensives at the very least to the level 2 mark, but still a tier behind as bugzy and PERDO and Shipa have already hit their stride at that level 3 Cauterize and Wrecker. With more ultimates, the ult lead, the item lead, D69 have been in total control of these capture point fights.
I mean, the one person who is playing it phenomenally, CogCog. 100,000 healing right now? An 8-minute game? Are you actually kidding me? He's doubling Saras's healing, despite the fact that Saras doesn't have that many to heal. I mean, that is insane. He's on like a 200,000 healing pace for a normal, 16-minute Paladins game, which is pretty dang nutty for considering how much they're losing.
Comes off the top rope here. We'll stun eLvenpath. No real follow-up, so don't know if he's going to wish he had that one back at this time. They're going to be in control of the point, but there's a lot of members of Flashpoint out trying to frag kills while Inara's standing on the point, and so slowly these kills are going to start to come through for D69. They're going to capture 66% of the point. A lot of comeback mechanic at play here, but Fisheko just trying to get done what he can. He knows that the team fight's over and just trying to salvage and scrap as much as possible.
And for as much as he stood on the point, 74%, he definitely got his money's worth. Cybate has to stay alive here. He's wearing the Buck Wrestler sin. You know he wants to go into the ring, but is he going to take on an opponent that might just be a little bit buffer than him? bugzy with the Bomb King showing his muscles, showing that he's all about business. And Fisheko, oh, very good Earthen Guard in response to the Hyper Beam, going to take away the CC and allow himself to stay on the map. That was a great heads-up play, but it could be over.
Those targets do end up staying on the map. eLvenpath will claim the life of Faenex. Here comes the convergence. We'll clean up a bunch and a lot of ultimates coming through to follow that one up. Beautiful team play as D69 just get to stand triumphantly on the point after that wipe.
Get Rex sprays all on the ground. And the Paladins,
Two
invitational. Actually. Yeah. Oh no, they're reminding Flashpoint, where they came from. Who you guys usually watch in the semis and the finals. Now you're playing against us, but don't forget who are the top dogs in town. Got to show them a little bit of style, and that is exactly what they've done here, Nick. To me, this was a great performance by D69. Flashpoint looking more and more in dire straits. What was the big difference maker for you here?
And the Saras honestly being able to combine, I think, just with PERDO having way less deaths this game, but still being able to be as aggressive as he has been. 95,000 damage, somehow, some way, still beat bugzy's Bomb King in damage. But yeah, just being able to be super aggressive without having to worry a whole lot. And then a lot of wombo combos, good stuff. And it sounds weird to say, but that first round was so snowbally. I don't think Flashpoint were ever able to wholly recover because, they're going into the second round with tier 2 items and every single ultimate available versus one ultimate. So that was basically a free team fight again for District 69. And there was just so much momentum going their way from the very get-go.
I mean, and you know, you talk about Solo's performances. I think they needed a little bit more damage on their squad. They went for these three tanks. Usually Ruckus can carry a lot of damage. Right now it was Fisheko really bringing the damage numbers, but they just couldn't compete on that level. CogCog, with all that healing that he was doing, you really look at that's why those numbers were so big. He had such a big help to deal with healing.
Did almost as much damage as the entirety of Flashpoint.
Yeah, that's a big issue.
You know, we don't have to do the math here, but that's just not good football.
That's not good football. It's not good Paladins right there as well. So you see that we're going to be coming up onto the next game, the final game. It's game 5, guys. Get hyped, ladies and gentlemen. It's ready for you. The map draft is here as well. It's going to be Frog Isle. And if I was Flashpoint, I'd be a little scared about this one. You got 2 chances to win. You've lost them both. And now you're on a map that's notorious for going quickly to the top 2 teams here. And you're facing one of them. Not looking good. But hey, we didn't believe in you before. I think everyone is starting to understand that you are ready to play at this level. You've made an effort to show that you can. And let's get into the champion draft to see if you're going to be able to best D69 one more time and go to the finals.
With the first pick to do it as well, Flashpoint, what did they take? It will be the Makoa. D69 responding with 2. Have been leaning on the Bomb King for the majority of this series. Looks like it's going to be that way. I mean, Bomb King, Andro have been their, I think, highest priority picks. Andro, definitely first pick potential for these guys now with PERDO, just really feeling it. I mean, he's been known for it, but, you know, most of the other Androxus players will play Cassie. They'll play some Lex. They'll play some Shaolin. But PERDO is just, he's never really himself on anyone but Androxus and maybe Lex.
Yeah, exactly. And that's when you get those comfort picks. Feel so good about it. And, you know, this is starting to look a little familiar here. Something that we've seen before. The Sarah's coming through with the Torvald and the Makoa taken for Flashpoint. D69 as well. Bomb King and Androxus going for them. And now the Maldamba opportunity, the Ruckus as well. And they're looking strong with this kind of lineup. I think a lot of comfort picks here, like
can respond. We're looking at stuff probably like Shaolin. Can't take the Drogos again because D69 have just been dissuading it. You know, PERDO is just going to run you over if you dare take the Drogos against that. So we'll be Shaolin for one of those. Hopefully not a 3rd tank this time. I don't know. They're going to need some sort of damage here. They are hovering the Drogos despite not only an Androxus on the team, but Ruckus as another hit scan challenge to this slow flying area champion.
And here's the Drogos. And again, you mentioned
all right,
a lot of deals that could be made or broken here today. Flashpoint taking a gamble on some flight. And, you know, he's got great control, but I've seen the Ruckus, the Maldamba, the Bear. The Bomb King. It feels like this is a Frog Isle composition if I've ever seen one. You can't count out the Torvald and the Makoa, though. And we haven't seen how Saris's ultimate really affects these point fights on Frog Isle since the recent convergence buff is big. It really changes her ability to not only have that big impact play, Nick, but control when she has that big impact play. So there's a lot. I would say that this could go either way here with these drafts.
Yeah, potential for big wombo combos off the back of the convergence with the Torvald silence, maybe even a hyper beam. I would prefer to see the silence into like a salvo and a planet or something like that. But District 69 not afraid to pick up Brazilians. Doubt that they will be getting wombo combo this time around.
So we'll take a look if they're able to survive one more time and take a win off of who were the top dogs in this set. Flashpoint trying to have a change of identity here, but will they finally be able to look in the mirror, or will they walk ahead as champions going into the finals? Stay tuned. We'll be back with game number 5 here in this first semifinal in just a second. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't say it anymore. Get up out your chairs, turn around, don't look at the team. I'm just kidding. You got to watch because it's game 5. You got to be here. We're all excited to see who goes to the finals because Flashpoint D69 have been battling it out. The Juggernauts come back from down 2-0. Now they're trying to get a win. Mortal Reach here as the legendary for CogCog on Flashpoint playing Saris. Desert Shadow for Shaolin for Side 8. Fusillade Drogos for Fisheko. Field Study Torvald for Faenex. And Pluck Makoa for Sephicloud.
Gerrah is going to be on Ripen. Gord Maldamba is going to be another a Darkstalker for PERDO's and Drox's Flux Generator for Shipa's Ruckus. eLvenpath will have Architectonic's Barrack and an Accelerant for Bugzy's Bomb King. 2 Wrecker, 2 Cots, and a Chronos. 2 Cauterizes, 1 Wrecker is the selection for Flashpoint.
Faenex going on the left-hand side, staying on the mount. Torvald with the limited mobility, but with a lot of recharge power. Taking away Barrack's shield. He's going to get stunned by the Grumpy Bomb and silence on the point, but PERDO looks to be hunting him down. Faenex is falling low and low. Recharge now available, but they've given up a lot of pressure and a lot of capture onto the objective for D69.
60% already going their way. Bugzy just has an angle over the top of this little podium to keep them low. CogCog completely pushed out. First blood, though, will be PERDO. Did he get too aggressive? 93% on the point. D69 may get this without contest, and the knock-up from Bugzy's Poppy Bomb actually prevents Torvald there from getting on to contest for overtime. Beautiful stuff.
They just have the 6th man, Nick. They have the 6th man, which is they took the objective, and that was the pressure they needed. It forces them to go in faster when they're not looking to go in, maybe because they don't have enough health, but they get taken down just the same, and they rush into a situation they shouldn't have rushed into. Flashpoint need to be a lot more wary of this objective fight, and right now I need to see Torvald having a much bigger impact on this game.
Yeah, there's no one really to dive, though. That's what Torvald is so good at doing, right? With Field Study, you're going to protect that Androxus or that Bomb King and just let him be that much bigger of a problem in the backline, but Flashpoint don't have anyone to do that.
Yeah, you're right. There's really an interesting draft here. They have to stay back, and Fisheko, unless he plays lights out like he did before, it's not something unheard of. There's really not going to be a lot for Torvald, the Field Study, on an offensive approach to create pressure. Right now, Sephicloud getting poked out with the wrecked gun there. eLvenpath using from the wrecked chest here in this last patch, and the 2 turrets set up. Explain it patient, just wants to keep things moving.
Wow, that damage is going to completely eradicate Ruckus from the field there. Big fire spit pokes out a couple of members here, but Sephicloud is just losing the 1v1 with PERDO and picked apart right now as Flashpoint.
And this is not typical. We often see the combustible here as of late onto Frog Isle, but Fisheko playing with Fuse a lot. It gives him the benefit of that 40% extra damage buff to be that much more impactful. He jumps in the air to avoid the King Bomb stun, getting away from the radius of it, and now he's able to stay alive with the Sarah's healing. Great positioning, great plays by Fisheko, but Bugzy's hunting him down yet again. He says, don't play my champion in front of me, but now Bugzy's in trouble, takes a big shot to the head, and he's going to take another fire spit, but he will survive.
30 seconds left in this round, so a good stall thus far from Flashpoint. 2 ultimates available to their name. D69, though, have 3, and this payload is coming down the final stretch very quickly. Already on their 10% of the way to go here. No more picks can be given up. There's going to be the Ancient Rage pop. Flashpoint have to stabilize.
Oh, huge hook by Sephicloud brings PERDO back into the fight when he was about to escape. We've seen these crucial mistakes happen where you let a flanker go like that, so close to being dead, and he comes back to haunt you, especially on Androxus. Right now, Dome Shield, though, is going to force everyone away from eLvenpath. The Shadow Travel keeping them alive. Heat Haze for Shaolin, helping to disguise him, but is he enough of a superhero to hold on? He's not. Side 8 will fall despite the skin, and Bugzy will find himself and his team ahead 2-0 on Frog Isle.
Everybody just staying alive from D69. 3 ultimates still in the tank. Dome Shield was used, but almost ready to go on that King Bomb, making it a total of 4. Flashpoint used a lot to try and hold that defense, and they did not. So Frog Isle, you know, if we know anything, this could get ugly very quickly as D69 are already up 2-0 with a ton of momentum on their side, not only in the series as a whole, but this game in particular.
I mean, I love the saving of the Dome Shield. We've seen that be the tie turner in this game. It was the tie turner for Brightmarsh, with Flashpoint being on the benefiting end of that ultimate. But now on the receiving end, doesn't feel so good to have Daddy Barrack kick you out of his home and make you go back to base with a 2-0 basically deficit starting on this point fight. And right now, D69 putting the pressure on again. They're in the lead, and they go to the point. They say, you got to come at us, guys. We are the ones holding the advantage.
27%. Ruckus will bring out the big guns, looking for something, looking for anything. There's a King Bomb being wound up. Already 1 kill going the way of D69. Make it 2 as Bugzy rolls through, finding Side 8. Nobody died from the Hyper Beam, so another ultimate gaining no value for Flashpoint.
And that's what I'm talking about. This Torvald not having the impact he needs does give Fisheko a 40% field study boost for 16-15. onto bugzy, who's unbeknownst to him, getting popped in the back with one of the hardest hitting rockets you'll ever see in the realm. Nice fire spit coming out as well. Convergence is here, and oh boy, Fuselage Drogos with a convergence. That's going to hurt, but a great play to get out of dodge. eLvenpath running away from the Dragon Punch. Fisheko will find his target, but he will fall in the process, giving D69 a clear lead and probably this next objective.
PERDO's disgusting. I was watching him that whole team fight, just shaking my head. I mean, beautiful little tiny things, catching a reactionary Shaolin arrow, which is hard enough to do. And then he pops his accursed arm to gain CC immunity away from the convergence and shut down all of the follow-up from both Shaolin and Saris. Pulls a triple kill in that fight. Just disgusting play from him right now.
Side 8 shutting him down, though. That's important for Flashpoint. Got to establish your rhythm. Part of that is by looking at the guy who's doing a lot, maybe getting a lot of kills, and killing him. They take down PERDO. That changes the rhythm for him. Minute 58 seconds left, counting down now to about 52 to where they've got to defend this. It's going to be one of the hardest defenses they've ever had to do in a while. Finals on the line for them. Many people wouldn't have thought they could even be here. But now they're defending an opportunity. Throws eLvenpath off. No, not yet. And PERDO takes Side 8 down in the action.
Throws a planet back, a whole planet across the map into Side 8's jaw. 2,400 damage, 100 to 0's the Shaolin. PERDO is playing out of his mind and showing why D69 have to first pick this Androxus for him.
And why it's such a good first pick. You can't oftentimes just say, let's first pick Androxus and it's going to be a
it's hard to justify.
It's really hard to justify, but you know what? With PERDO, he changes the rules, baby. He's going to hit another reversal, but Side 8 is going to do a good job. Can't forget about gerrah, though, with the Mortal Reach card. Anywhere he could pretty much see his flanker, he's going to be able to heal him. That's a big reason why PERDO's been able to stay alive. Side 8 with 2 on the backside. Nice convergence coming through. Actually, no, not used yet. Charged up and ready to go, though. It is now. 50 seconds left. CogCog trying to hold it back.
Nice field study action there on the Side 8. That Shaolin was chunking very, very hard here. bugzy could go down. Sephicloud stays alive. Nice shield study there from Torvald. It's going to keep yet another member of Flashpoint alive here. That's going to be a big man advantage. bugzy just now respawning. 35 seconds remain here. D69 have plenty of tools left, however, to keep this payload going here. Sitting on 3 ultimates, under 2%. PERDO's ready to go. Dome Shield's 3% off. D69 are looking to close it out.
You know, and CogCog on this Saris, knowing that it's important to avoid the King Bomb, goes into Shadow Travel, doing well. gerrah on the other side with the Maldamba, keeping his teammates nice and healthy. A convergence is gonna rend soul, but it won't do much damage. PERDO in the air, finds 2. Fisheko, Side 8, fall down. PERDO with a triple kill, looking to make it 4. Shadow Travel will save CogCog's life for now, as he'll contest the overtime, but he will fall. Shipa with the Hexafire to seal things off, and D69 will coast to the finals.
I mean, Flashpoint right now looking like the Warriors choking a 2-0 lead here, or the Falcons in the Super Bowl right now, but unfortunately that's just the way it goes today. PERDO playing out of his mind, frankly doesn't have anyone except gerrah to really help him. There's no Makoa hook set up. He was doing a lot of that on his own. 16 and 5, 62,000 damage, you know, highest on his team yet again.
Yeah, you know, and you know, I realized that I said CogCog helping him out with Mortal Reach. It was really gerrah. But, you know, the way that gerrah plays this Maldamba, so accurate, so pinpoint, it's pretty much the same. This guy from anywhere on the map that hit scan heal is coming towards him. But you're right, he did do a lot on his own. I mean, you can fake, you can stay alive. But the fact is, getting top damage on an Androxus on your team so consistently, I mean, breaking 100K, we saw him do that earlier in the tournament. This is just not usual PERDO. I mean, he's usually great, amazing even. But this good? He's just on today.
Absolutely. You know, he's justifying these first picks, or these high priority picks at the very least, that he has been getting, and it's just working. You know, D69, despite being down 2-0, they just never look shook, man. They never look like they're really worried. They continue to play their game. They don't really do a whole lot that, you know, even in the games that they lost early on in the series, it was just off of the back of exceptional Flashpoint play. There's never really like these huge glaring mistakes from D69 that are easy to point out. It might be little things here and there that we may not even catch on the cast, but these guys are just so hard to break.
Yeah. And speaking of that, we will be going to a break very soon. We have obviously the next side of the bracket to cover, and we'll take a look at that on your screen. It is ready, and we will be facing off to on your screens with 50 Shades of Snake and WASD Sports. Those guys are going to be going after it. 50 Shades of Snake, typically the 2 seed as of late after the Masters land and D69's masterclass performance there, showing that they have now come back after the last week, really taking a big command of this scene, especially with Sun Commander. Speaking of command, really taking the reins for 50 Shades of Snake, playing lights out, matching PERDO, and even sometimes upending him in terms of value provided for his team on the battlefield. So that's going to be a matchup that they're going to be hoping to have one more time, but they've still got WASD Sports to roll through, Nick. That's not going to be an easy task.
Absolutely not. Took first place last week. Let's see if they can keep their momentum high and look to take down WASD in the semifinals to meet D69 once again in the finals. And
before we do take that, guys, the wrecked chest. You've been seeing it. Some of the players, PERDO, he was popping off. But you know why he was hitting so hard? It wasn't because of, any boost happening. It's not because he was getting healed and staying alive and doing headshots, because he's actually shooting with Nerf guns. That's right. He's got the get wrecked chest. He's got all these amazingly cool things reminiscent of your favorite toys. And he's absolutely something that you want to grab when you jump into the realm. So make sure to get that wrecked chest as soon as you can, shooting the darts
Best
at
part,
your
dude.
foes.
Best part is
reload?
that PERDO, no, he never uses skins on. The only skin I've ever seen him use is this wrecked pistol, dude. He even got PERDO to break with this one.
No, I mean, I saw him. He was a sucker. PERDO, he's a romantic. He was a sucker for the Valentine's pistol. That is one I remember seeing from him. But you're right. He's not flipping and flopping on these chests, but this one he loves. So make sure you guys take it on. We've been throwing some giveaways out in the chat as well if you need some help for some crystals. So make sure to tune into that and keep it locked here while we go on a quick break. Bring it back with the semifinals, 50 Shades of Snake versus WASD.